Hello everyone, my name is Roszipou and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a little bit different than usual. If you have been around my channel for a month, or if you just got stumbled into my Pokemon Nuzlocke videos, first and foremost, thank you so much for your subscription and just keeping up with my videos. And if you maybe went into my older videos, you will notice that I used to do a lot of bullet journal videos. I don't do them as much right now. I'm kind of taking a break from it, but today is special. I am right about finishing my last pages for my actual bullet journal of 2020, and I decided to treat myself to a much more high quality type of journal. You guys probably figure what kind of journal that I have, and it is a Archer and Olive. Not sure how I should pronounce it correctly. It's Archer and Olive. I guess that's how you say it, right? But either way, I got my new bullet journal yesterday and I can't wait to test it out. So today's video is maybe going to be kind of an unboxing, kind of a setting up my new bullet journal, and as a review as well. It's gonna be it's gonna be a lot of stuff at the same time, that's for sure. And yeah, so I'm sorry for those who subscribe to my channel for my art content and my bullet journal content. I'm working on some stuff, but unfortunately some other stuff happened, and yeah, I'm just trying to figuring out myself as well. But yeah, so you know what, let's just unbox it and get right into it, and let's test this little new baby out, and yeah, let's get right into it. So first off, this is the box that I received my notebook in. So this is actually a very beautiful box. I like the minimalism style with the leaves and stuff. When you open the box, the notebook was actually not wrapped. It was just wrapped in paper, which I really do appreciate, because I do feel sometimes when you order stuff over the internet, it's heavily packaged. The color of the journal is in a very lettery textile texture. This is a 160 pages dot grid notebook with 160 GSM ultra thick paper. So expect no bleeding, no ghosting with this type of paper. This is very thick. The notebook itself is very firm. Honestly, if you would have told me that this book has less than 200 pages, I wouldn't believe you unless I would have touched the paper. So inside of it, it's pretty normal as well. And then as soon as I turn the pages, I just noticed that yes, the company called this ultra thick paper, but as soon as I touch it, I noticed that it wasn't normal paper. It is actually a cardstock paper. So it is basically you are basically using cardstock with this notebook, which explains a lot of why it doesn't do any type of ghosting and bleeding. In the middle of the notebook, I noticed that they had a little keychain. I do think it's adorable with the logo of Archer and Olive. When you open it at the end, you have this little band where you can put a pen there if you are on the go and you want to do some journaling in the bus or whatever. You also have a pocket. The pocket, it's kind of small compared to my other journal, but yeah. So this is how the journal looks like, and compared to my older journal had 215 pages. You can see that the border is like not touching the cover, and like I said, this notebook has 160 pages. So I don't know if I would need like another notebook towards the end of the year, but I will try to not take a lot of spaces in it. Now what I'm doing, I am actually going to try my new bullet journal, and I didn't just want it to do like random spreads, so I decided that, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's going to be like a little bit of a plan with me. So I'm gonna just like take note of what spreads I want to move over my new journal. So I put a bunch of bookmarks in it. And yeah, so I'm gonna test out the paper. In this video I'll only be using my Corolla Super Dips markers. So and if in the future I decide to do like another type of medium, maybe I'm gonna make another video on that to maybe complete more my review. But I feel like a lot of people have reviews this notebook already. It's an amazing company, so honestly go check out other bunch of videos after this one, of course. And yeah, so I just decided to start off with a key page. If you have been bullet journaling for a while, maybe this spread might not be as useful, but honestly I do it more for the decorative aspect more than anything. I feel like when you open your journal and you see a key, I feel the look of it most of the time makes it like more professional. I don't know. So I also wanted to move over the kind of theme that I did in my other journal. At the beginning, it was very floral, so I decided to move that over this one as well. So I just did a little box with a bunch of flowers around it. I wanted to do some kind of like lily flowers, but not exactly. I think that I was looking up pictures of hyacinths actually, and when I tried to do the exact same thing, I feel like it was more looking like lilies. But yeah, so just cute little flowers. I use my sack wrapping my micron in it, and also other kind of pen that I have lying around. Actually, most of you guys know I am working on a comic that is like very personal, more journal like, so I bought a bunch of those pilot pens. If you want to check them out, I'm gonna put a link in the description box. Not that I don't recommend them for journaling, but one of the things that I don't really like about those markers is that if I combine them with markers, I just feel like the ink is not that set in the paper usually. With this type of paper, I feel like the bleeding is not as bad as it was in my first journal though. But yeah, I don't really recommend them if you don't have the right type of paper for your journal. So I did my little key, like I said. I'm doing some drop shadows with my sack wrapping my micron right now. And if you can see it, I actually minimize my key a lot because I figured that most of the key and the symbols that I set up in my first key spread in my other journal, I didn't really use them actually, and I kind of did my own instead of like doing something that is like general. So I'm gonna do a little box for every task that I plan to do. I'm gonna mid coloring it when it's in progress and fully coloring it when it's done. If I cross the box, that means that this task was cancelled, and depending on which directions the arrow points, either that this task was moved to another day or another week, or that I did it earlier than expected. And now I'm just using my Crayola Super Lips to do some coloring. For my flowers, I use two type of pink, one very pastel and one a little bit darker. I really like how my flowers looked in my first journal, so I didn't color them fully. I actually left some white spaces for the highlights, I should say, and I did a little drop shadow as well for the key title. Alright, and on the other side, I decided to do a little index. I really thought that in my first journal the index was quite useful, but the thing that I didn't like is that it was taking basically 3 full pages, and honestly I don't feel like I need that much spaces for an index. And when I look back at my first journal of 2020, I honestly didn't fill the first page of the already printed index that I put in it. So yeah, I feel like an index is still quite useful for me. I don't know why, but I am the type of person that like is bookmark would just like fell off the book, mostly because I have a little kitty cat who likes to play with it and try to eat it. But I lose my bookmark a lot of time basically, and this is the reason why I feel like an index is really useful for that. So I'm gonna like number my pages a little bit later. To be honest with you guys, I just totally didn't know what to do for this index. I didn't know if I wanted to do columns, I didn't know if I wanted to do like a bunch of lines, but one thing that I knew for sure was the look of it. So I just did the title page of my index, and I'm gonna figure out later what it's gonna look like. So far I think the simplest way will be doing like 2 columns and separate them in 2 other columns in it. So 1 column for the pages and 1 column for the topic and the subject. And now let's look at the result now that my pages has dry. So as you can see, we can see like a tiny little bit of ghosting, but it's probably due to the fact that when I write, I just press very hard. But marker wise, if I didn't have a light facing the top of my journal directly, you wouldn't see the coasting or any kind of bleeding at all. So what I mean by bleeding is that, for example, you use a marker and it bleeds on the other page, so you would totally see like a spot of color, and ghosting is probably like the better term for that. So we could see a little bit what was behind the page, but it was mostly because, like I said, I had a light facing my journal directly, and this is the reason why we could see it a tiny little bit. It's not perfect, but honestly I am 100% satisfied. And now, because I felt like the 2 other spreads were kind of minimal, I wanted to give you more of a bigger spread point of view. So I decided to record my next 2 spread for my new bullet journal, which is a grid, a spacing, cheat sheet. There we go. So basically the purpose of this spread is that all my spaces between the dots are all counted, and I am dividing the squares, the boxes in half, quarters and tiers. So when I will be like turning my pages over, I'm gonna have an idea without a ruler and without having the need to count where the half of my page is, where the quarter and the tier is as well. And basically I am separating my my grid vertically and horizontally as well. So I started by finding the middle of the spread and just counting how many squares that I have between the dots. I wrote the numbers in vertically and horizontally, and what I tried to do is that on the exact number where my vertical and horizontal line meet, I put the next number in, and then with different color markers I try to differentiate the lines for the vertical and horizontal and just have like an overall better look. So it just looked like a bunch and a mess of lines for you guys, but I swear it is really useful when you try to find the middle of the page or to separate your columns in quarters or in tiers. And yeah, so at the bottom where I have like a blank space, I just wrote the cheat sheet in grid spacing. I use my brush Sakura Pigma pen, and after that I just use my Sakura Jelly roll pen to write in the box, and I mix a cursive and kind of like typewriter font for it. And on the next page I wanted to go a little bit bigger and like more decorative. So I did a quote page, and the quote that I choose for the beginning of my journal to open things well is be proud of how hard you are trying. I feel like it really resumed well the start of 2020 as well as my bullet journal journey this year. I decided to share, as you know guys, I decided to share my bullet journal with y'all and doing videos, and as you know as well, turns out that sharing my bullet journal and making videos about it is a little bit more harder than I thought. I don't know, something is bugging me, and I just wanted to let me remember that at least I'm trying, I'm doing what I consider my best to be satisfied with my spread and to make beautiful pages. But yeah, and honestly, sometimes you can only satisfy yourself by trying. If you have an art block, if you have some trouble to work on some stuff, if you want to try something new that you never did before and you messed up, sometimes you just need to remember yourself that at least you tried, and there is always going to be another time to work on your mistakes and maybe do it better this time. So because my overall theme at the beginning of my journal is more floral, I just decided to add a big rose at the bottom of my quote, mostly because roses are not only my first name but also one of my favorite flowers as well, with lilies. And then I just decided to draw a bunch of petals falling down the sky, or maybe like elevating up, like a gust of wind just went into the rose and make the petals fly through. And yeah, and now I'm using a pink Crayola Super Dip marker to do a little bit of like a drop shadow on the petals. Also kind of like a pun because my name is Rose and because my first language is French. Rose also means pink, and you understand by the two designed choice that I did. This quote really reflects on myself. I just want like to very make an impact when I'm gonna open my bullet journal every time. Like, girl, at least you're trying, even though the wind is like blowing on you and you lost a few petals. You are trying your best and you can do it. And also, I forgot to record it, but as expected, no ghosting, no bleeding behind those 2 pages. And yeah, honestly, Archer and Olive may be the best journal that I ever owned. Totally worth the price. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Alright guys, thank you so much for being here with me. It's for the beginning of my little plan with me, or should I say setting up my new bullet journal. I just really wanted to test it out, like first off, and I really wanted to film this so you guys can have a little bit of my impression. And honestly, I heard so many good comments about this bullet journal. I am so proud to finally have one, and yeah, so I'm sorry if it's not a real complete set up my new bullet journal video or some sort. Pretty sure there's like so many others setting up my new bullet journal videos right now on YouTube, so go support all the bullet journaler YouTubers on YouTube, please. And yeah, so I have nothing to say so far, and yeah, I only use my markers like I said, but honestly, if I would use like any kind of medium or any kind of material, I'm pretty sure that it's just gonna be perfect for this little notebook. So yeah, more life updates videos, more art content videos are coming very soon. I just need to figure the things out. New stuff incoming, but in the meantime, please enjoy my Pokemon HeartGold Nuzlocke playthrough. And did I needed to say something else? Oh yeah, if you would like to catch up my streams on twitch.tv, here's my schedule right here where you can try to be there. I do have 2 schedules to compensate with my time zone and other types of time zone, so feel free to comment in whenever you can. And also, if you haven't noticed yet, at the end of my videos I shout out my Patreon, because yes, I did made a Patreon. The link is just right here. And yeah, so feel free to join one of the tiers. I was thinking of making a complete video on my Patreon reward, so yeah, that's gonna be coming soon. I have a lot of stuff to work on, so you'll see a bunch of new videos incoming very soon. And yeah, so I would like to thank you so much for watching. If you like this content, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell, and give a like, put a comment, and yeah, so my question for the day for you guys is, do you have a bullet journal? Do you do some bullet journaling? And what is the bullet journal notebook that you have? And yeah, so let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys very soon. Goodbye.